Genie grind and watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,
Hello world, I'm What If Studier, and today we are doing What If Deku owned a barbershop. We're really running out of ideas, aren't we? No, I refuse to give up. I still have good ideas, alright? Let's get through this one though first, because I feel like this one has quite an interesting past inside of it. Alright, so basically Deku is raised up on the streets this time. Not exactly pampered as he was before with, his mother and all that. He's sort of raised on a sort of ghetto neighborhood. Now this isn't to stereotype barbershops, but it is to a point where Deku has seen other people take their quirks and use them for worse. He swears that he'll never use his quirk for any wrong, as he has seen many villains in his neighborhood, and swears to always use his quirk for right. So once he gains his quirk, it's a split personality quirk, kind of like Twice's. However, he can change his, he can split himself forever, and just like Twice, he does get a little bit weaker every time. However, he does not get as weak as Twice does. His is a little bit more powerful. And as a little kid, he wants to donate this as sort of to save his community. As he starts to make 4 of himself, 8 of himself, and then they start to make more of themselves. However, he starts to lose control of them, just like how Twice did. However, this time he puts them all back inside of him before they can sort of stage a rebellion against him. So, freaked out about that for a little while, he tries to figure out how exactly he would use it for good. He decides to only use 4 of them. So he creates 4 of them. By the time he's 6, he gets to be good friends with them. However, living in this sort of ghetto neighborhood, his mother is pressed for funds. So making 4 of himself would allow him to work different jobs. So once he turns 10, he starts working immediately with all of his different people going to different places, working different jobs. However, the original Deku will just say he starts working in a barbershop down the road. At this barbershop, he meets a special old man, an old hero who sort of protects his street. After all the villains and people that he's seen over the years have always been defeated by some sort of mysterious figure that usually leaves before even taking any of the credit. When talking to this old man, he figures out that the old man actually was the one that was defeating all those men, all those bad guys, and sort of starts to idolize him. However, the old man is dying quick. Over the years, once Deku turns 12, the old man dies, shamefully. Unable to protect his sort of realm of the block, Deku takes it upon himself to try and swears to defend his neighborhood. And so the rest of his 4, he takes them out of jobs as his mother has gained enough that she can actually move to a better neighborhood. However, he has already sworn himself to live here and to supply himself. He's been working 4 different jobs for 2 years by this point, so he can afford his own place. This sort of mentality of being able to live by himself has given him a boost in intelligence. And since the old man is gone, they find in his will actually that he lends down the establishing rights to the barbershop to Deku. Deku feels bad about having to leave his mother behind to defend this neighborhood and also run the barbershop, but he takes it upon himself to agree to the terms. He starts to run the barbershop by having one of his duplicates run it, and the other ones work around it, taking up jobs in multiple areas around it. But however, finding jobs is quite hard in that neighborhood, as a lot of the jobs that they did take up were very manual labor, and while he agrees that it made them like twice as strong as they were before, they're basically super strong by this point, for a 12-year-old at least, it still wasn't high enough paying to, donate enough to this community. So he will still have to keep his eye on the community, but while that's happening, he is spending a lot of time with himself and his mother. His mother, though, gets worried about him and tells him that, if it's so important to him that he should just go and live there by himself. And, you know, because she's fine there, you know, but she'll come around once in a while and make sure that he's doing fine, you know, as long as he's sure about this. So basically, collectively, they have all lived 3 years by this point. If you plus all of that together, once he collects all of himself together, they make an equal amount of 12 years concisely for all of them. So that means that he has a mental age of 22. I mean, well, no, not 24, 25 actually, which is insane for his age. And he thinks that he's already ready to take over the barbershop. His mother, of course, very much worrying about this and stops by a lot. He decides that he needs to help out his community more, and so he moves into the barbershop, buying out the space behind it and making the whole place much bigger. He decides that, you know, he needs jobs too. So all of them sort of collect together and start working at jobs there. The main Deku actually starts learning how to cut hair, as he got very good with scissors in his hero work, monitoring around and becoming physically strong as he wanted to. All the rest of them, just as physically strong and able, sort of feel like they could take up some more heavy lifting jobs. However, the main Deku tells them to calm down and tells them that, you know what, we need some music up in here. So all of them came up with the idea at the same time, saying that maybe we should start a quartet. Now here's where the fun begins, because now they're all like, holy shit, that sounds like a great idea. And it would bring us, as they're all sort of not connected anymore, as they haven't seen each other for so long. They're basically different people by this point. One's sort of fatter, the one that went to the bakery and started battering bread for like 50 hours a week. You know, he would just punch bread and stuff. Has become a lot more fat because he's been surviving off of breadcrumbs. Just bread, I mean. And another one's quite skinny and also has very lanky arms that's been working in the mines, becoming much more resilient to things around him. His resistance to sort of smoke and all these different toxins is basically minimal. And another one that has, the last one, a shorter sort of statured man. Not man, I mean, they're all like 15 by this point, I'm pretty sure. No, they're 14. He does local runs for, you know, a pizzeria down the road. And since he's run so much, you know, he just becomes so much more fit in his legs and is quite fast by his lonesome. Now, once they collect all together, well, you can imagine he is just sort of like a demi-superhuman, all right? He's like a mini-superhuman. Like, he's been training. It seems like he's been training his whole life. Like, he's very fit and stuff when he joins all together. Now, the original Deku has been spending time defeating villains and has learned a lot of martial art abilities. So, collect them all together, you see what I mean. Now that they're all above 14, you know, they start, when he suggests about a quartet, you know, all of them have had their own life experiences and stuff by this point and don't really feel comfortable around each other. So that's what comes up with the idea. The original Deku comes up with that. So they all start to join and start to learn quartet and stuff as they start to obey, I guess, you know, the original Deku's orders, as, you know, they kind of run this place together and they gotta, you know, work together at least. So they all start studying their parts and then join in together to make a quartet. However, the main Deku is mostly just shaving hair, is mostly just cutting hair while they're quartetting in the corner. They get so good at this quartet, actually, that it starts to make people fall asleep. You see where I'm going with this, right? So basically, their quartet becomes quite popular along locals. They tell them that they should go to like nationals or anything like that, but they brush this off as it wouldn't mean much to them. Once Deku turns 15, however, he sort of is become this infamous character around their neighborhood and other neighborhoods around them. Sort of this area has been told about this foretelling of the humming savior, because he's always humming a tune to himself or thinking to himself about different stuff that he's going to do the next day, usually humming a tune as he walks away from saving somebody. Usually never showing his face, as he wouldn't like them, to ever know him, really. You get it, vigilante shit. And also, he's not allowed to be a hero. So that sucks for him. But he's also become an infamously great barbershop thing, as he's gotten quite good at cutting hair and being very careful of where vital parts are. He knows exactly how to, if he could basically just cut off your neck in 2 seconds, and not even 2 seconds, in no time at all. That's why he's so great at being a vigilante, because he can basically paralyze somebody with one kick. After all, he's been doing this for as long as he can remember. His mother comes and visits him once in a while too. So after all of that, there's one day when he's doing vigilante work, cruising around the streets, and a woman is being attacked by an unknown assailant. Same basic shit as he's always had to deal with. However, he extends a little bit farther out than he should in outside of his own community. A little bit farther on one of his scouts. As he kicks down the man easily, knocking him out in one kick, and taking him down to the ground, returning the woman's purse to her. He looks behind him to feel an ominous presence that suddenly shoots out at him like the sludge monster. As he tries to punch it as hard as he can in what he knows as the throat, it suddenly just turns into slime. It was not a person at all, it was the slime villain. As it starts to crawl around his body, he tries to throw it off, throwing it to the side. He thinks in his head as hard as he can to the others, asking them to come to him, as he had only 2 of the personalities inside of him. If he was to collect all 4 personalities, he would lose a lot of his thinking process. That's why the third one comes out of nowhere, sort of tagging hands with him, molding back into him. His thoughts are a little bit clouded now, as there's 3 personalities inside of him. It's like how the Power Rangers Megazord works, all right? It's like, they all sort of control their own body part. They work in a perfect motion because they're different people. They have different thoughts about what is happening, and as such, they think too much if they were to all combine together. So he's only allowed 3 right now, and easily defeats the sludge villain, kicking it into the air and then sort of turning, hot wiring the freaking light above it to basically fry up the sludge villain, almost evaporating him until a gigantic gust of wind is heard behind him as, the hero All Might crashes down. All Might grabs onto his shoulder before he can start running away, and asks him, "What do you think you're going, vigilante? Vigilante? What should his name be? Vigilante? The humming vigilante?" Because he was singing that whole entire time while he was fighting the sludge villain, as some part of him is singing with the rest of them, sort of synchronizing their movements. It helps him a lot, okay? The humming vigilante, he calls him. So he's like, "What do you think you're going, son?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in for it now, aren't I?" And I think I'll end it off there. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that this goes on to be much better, as I have tried to make it. Thank you so much for watching, world, and I hope I'll see you sometime, somewhere. Goodbye.
Genie grind and watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit up, I feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,